50 a few times recently, and we're not going to do another video on it today, but just can't help but take a look at all these tetras swimming around and all that habitat. Adding that riverbank definitely extended the tank, the front to back and the top to bottom. And it's got all the cichlids out and about. Can you believe this guy was born in this tank? He was just that little fish. Him and his brother all grown up. And the albino geophagus, they're getting big. Alright, so I finally got that second light added to the Malawi River vegetable filter. So no longer will we have this giant peace lily and this tiny little guy over here. It's time for this guy to grow up and see the light. Yeah, that's not all for plants. As you can tell, there's a new build coming and there's a lot of plants going into it. I love my vegetable filtration. And in case anyone remembers the fish basement annex, there's some exciting news. A major stage was just completed. That's right, concrete. We have concrete. This is a big one. As you can imagine, the roof is a huge one, and concrete is another huge one. So now it's time to start framing this bad boy out. So that's going to be the entrance from the old, from the existing fish room here into the annex. So turn around here and we'll flow out here into a 33 by 20 room. And yeah, this is going to be a lot of new aquarium builds. Super exciting, still a lot of work to go, but yeah, it is coming along. So it has been a little bit since we've filmed any of the marine aquariums, but it's good reason because with the annex, there's big things coming to the saltwater side. Everyone is getting a big upgrade in their home, including these guys. And they're going to need it. Those big angels are getting big. Look at that French. Amazing. Ooh, even the queen. Queen's finally growing. Can't wait to get these guys into their new home. So let's see, I was supposed to trim the jungle val, which is growing everywhere in the 600 Asian jungle, and obviously I haven't done that yet. But, we'll save that for another video because we'll do a deep dive. We'll check out everything that's going on in here and catch up on some of the growth because I know we got some fish in here that are getting big. So like I alluded to in the last video, the 220-gallon flooded forest has gone through quite a bit of changes. I think the obvious first thing is, yeah, there's some new discus in here. There's actually my favorite discus, which is the red Marlboro, a group of 4 of those. 3 of them hanging out over here with the group, and one of them kind of hiding off in the corner up there. It's always that way. Some of them, when they get moved over from quarantine into the main tank, some of them settle in right away, and others takes a little bit of time. But they are all doing really well, and they are beautiful. These are actually Jack Watley discus. My first group was from Hans Discus, and the second group is from Jack Watley, and I'm happy to say that they are both awesome. Both suppliers provided awesome looking discus. Now with my existing discus, they're acting a little different because if you look at the surface of the water, yeah, we took away all those plants, so they're getting a lot more light than what they're used to. But we've added some more plants. And also I've started dosing again. I was definitely slacking on that for a while. So with the extra light, we're going to dose more. And like I said, we've added 8 of these sword plants. Now they're actually not the swords I ordered. The ones I ordered they didn't have, or something was wrong with them, so they swapped these out. So let me check on exactly what these are. So yeah, the swords I ordered were rosette, and then they swapped them out with melons. So we got 8 melon swords in here, which is fine. They're similar, comparable, so it's good enough. So it's fine. But the other key thing is there's a bunch of new fish, and the obvious ones, the discus, you can't miss these guys. But there's a lot more. There's other more subtle fish in here, and I'm gonna take you through now and show you all those other fish that aren't just so easily apparent at first glance when you walk up to the aquarium. So one of those new fish is the group of 10 sterbai that I talked about before. They're very, very small, but they are doing well and should be growing in no time. They're definitely putting in the work, keeping the bottom of the aquarium clean. And they're doing really well with the existing cories, so happy to see them all one big happy cory pack, and I can't wait for the sterbai to get a little bigger because those guys right now, man, they blend in at that size. However, in addition, we've also got a group of very, very small blue German rams. They're a little bit difficult to see hiding out in the back there, but there's a group of small blue German rams. There's actually 5 of them. And I'm really looking forward to those guys getting bigger. They came in, I guess I didn't really have expectations to the size. They didn't really say, but they were a very good price, and they're very small. Let me see if I can get the discus out of the way. Yeah, they're kind of swimming to the front. So they're beautiful and everything. They're just very small. So really looking forward to those guys growing up, and they're going to look awesome. And hopefully 5 of them do well together. It's a larger tank with a lot going on, so hopefully there's not a lot of the typical territorial issues you have with a lot of rams. So also there's a group of autocinchlists in here. There's one small one up there. They're also small and they're really hard to spot. Let me see if I can find another one. Well, so I was trying to find some autos that were not just on the glass, but down here on the wood and rock, and I haven't been able to find one. You know, there's 20 in here, but this kind of aquarium, baby autos are not going to be easy to spot. There's just so many places they could go. But they're going to love that wood. There's going to be plenty of Euphosaurus and small organisms living on that wood that they just love to feast on. So they should have no problem doing well in here. It's quite established, and it's really pretty much an ideal habitat for them. So once they get bigger, it'll be easy to show them off in future videos. I figure the best way to get everybody out here is we'll put some of the sinking food in there, because that's certain to bring out all of the discus. There's no problem with that, but that'll also get out our Bolivian ram, and of course our army of Cory cats. I kind of love when you just sort of scroll through the bottom of the aquarium here, down in all these grasses. You just have Corys and Ottos and small glow light neon tetras just popping out pretty much anywhere potentially. You've got somebody who's down there in that that ground cover, looking for food or just cruising along. Now I wouldn't be surprised if back here somewhere amongst these discus, while they're feeding off, oh yeah, there's a big Cory pack in the back there, looking for their share of the discus food. But doing a great job of keeping the substrate clean. And I just got to get a close-up of the the red Marlboros. I just love those guys. Always been my all-time favorite discus, and couldn't believe I didn't have any. So had to add them. Couldn't resist. And then I also got some albino yellows. So we'll look to see what those turn into. Never had those before. In fact, it's kind of amazing that. This is my first discus aquarium. As long as I've been keeping fish forever, and I've always appreciated discus, but it never happened. And now at this point, I can't imagine myself not having a discus aquarium. I think probably from here on out, I will always have a discus aquarium in my fish room. I really can't imagine a scenario where I wouldn't. So that's how impactful they've been on me, and how much I would say. One of the great successes in the hobby is the farm-bred, farm-raised fish. Taking something like a discus that, when it came from the wild, wild discus from the wild, when they first came into the hobby, the requirements were much higher than nowadays, and it kept a lot of people from keeping, these beautiful fish. And it's a little bit like African cichlids as well. When fish that came from parts of the world where they had very different, water parameters than, say, your typical North American water parameters. It's awesome to see those fish being farm bred, usually in Florida, and getting them well adapted, to North American water parameters, and allowing, every level of hobbyists, not just advanced hobbyists, but even, intermediate hobbyists, to keep what used to be somewhat difficult species of fish. So, really awesome, and man, every time I come down to the fish basement, which is every day, I see these guys from across the room, and they just pop. They just stand out. It's amazing, really amazing fish. So the focus now on the 220 flooded forest is obviously keep tabs on all the new additions. I kind of did a short quarantine on these guys, only 10 days. So I'm keeping a tab on everything. Fortunately, being this aquarium, with the discus and the rams. If I were to have ig or something like that, I would just go ahead and crank this temperature straight up from 82 to 86 and nuke that right away, and it wouldn't be a problem for any of the fish in here. But certainly don't want that to happen, but there is a very solid way to handle it should anything like that occur. But the focus is going to be getting the green back in here. So I'm going to be focused on sort of power growing these swords and getting my dwarf sage, sort of growing again. I sort of, with the top cover, the lighting was very diffused, and I cut way back on the fertilizer. I didn't want to grow any algae or anything like that. But that's been under control for such a long period of time that I think it's time. Well, as you can see, there's a lot more light now, and we have the new plants that are going to require a little more light than the Dorsage. So it is time to go ahead and crank up the fertilization and get everything popping, because this is going to be an amazing looking tank with some big swords, some big melon swords, and some more green. And really, honestly, just getting that bottom cover back to where it used to be. It used to be quite thick everywhere, and it's thinned out a little bit. So looking forward to seeing that jumpstart again, because seeing the little Cory cats and the little Tetra moving in and out of the ground cover, to me, honestly, is near as fun as watching the Discus. I mean, it's having all these little guys down here, all this other stuff going on. They kind of bring you in with the Discus. You get, wow, look at that. You got this, amazing color and beauty pulling you in. But then you get in tight and you realize, oh wow, there's a cave system. There's all kinds of little guys going in and out in this sort of jungle ground cover. So there's a lot more going on. A lot more than meets the eye when at first appearance. And now with more lighting, we can definitely take advantage of appreciating that. We can actually see what's going on. So, and of course we have, like I said, with those rams, when they get bigger, we're going to get them some more medium-sized cichlids in here. We beefed up the school with the glow light tetras, and they're very small right now, but they're going to get size to them, and they're going to get close in size to these neons. Or actually, they will get that size, and that's going to really pop as well. So, lots of good things coming for the flooded forest, but like I said, the focus right now is on beefing up the greenery, getting those plants going. So definitely the wood in this aquarium has been a huge win for the Discus. They definitely love it. They love swimming in there, and it gives them a refuge, but it's also, you can see them, so it's kind of the best of both worlds. And I think once these swords get large and grow up, that's going to do the same thing. So I think that's going to be a big hit with the Discus and keep these guys nice and comfortable. I love that, I'm right here in their face with a camera, and they are not bothered by it, which makes a YouTuber's life a lot easier. But also, it's just more enjoyable. It's awesome when the beautiful fish are coming up to you and eating out of your hand, as opposed to, retreating when you come at, when you're at the tank. It's a very interactive tank, and it's one that attracts everybody. I mean, it's it should be no brainer that, oh, there's all four of the Marlboros together. God, I love those guys. But yeah, so it's best of both worlds when you have a tank that has fish that are this beautiful, but that are also friendly and interactive as well. So making a significant dynamic change to the tank by removing all those floating plants and letting in so much more light and changing the water flow a little bit, it's obviously going to have an effect on the fish. They're going to act a little different for a while, so we'll circle back around in the next video when we take a look at the 600 gallon, and we'll pop back and we'll take a look at the Discus aquarium as well, and hopefully I can show you more plant growth by then. But I think you'll see a difference in the way the fish are acting. They'll be a little more like they used to be, where they were just super calm everywhere. I mean, they're pretty good right now, but I can tell a little bit of difference with they obviously know that they don't have that big top cover of plants right now, so they're a little more shy than they were. But I think in no time they'll be right back to the way they were. I also think the baby Ottos and the baby Sturbai and the baby German blue rams, they'll grow quite quickly as well, and I think they'll stand out much more. And like I said, hopefully I can get those plants popping, because that's really going to set this tank off. And I also think the 600 gallon Asian jungle after a big trim is going to be pretty cool as well. The water's gotten super clear in there, and we'll do some deep dive filming in that tank. And then of course, as you saw at the beginning of the video, the basement annex it's happening. It's in construction right now. I'm of course working on the 315 gallon. The DIY build, getting it scaped and running and everything like that for its live premiere debut, and of course the slow progress on the 3,000 gallon. But it's all happening, so it's obviously a lot going on. So hopefully you're checking back every week, and as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.